Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies. And today we are reviewing one of Chauncey's movies called Amityville Bigfoot. Now we have already reviewed 2 of his movies, and he actually has several more because he likes making a lot of them and getting your money to make them. And then they're all called Amityville. But I think isn't his latest movie, it's not called...
Safi, not all of them are Amityville. Only 3 or 4 of them out of 7 are Amityville.
Okay, everything that we've reviewed, I believe, has been called Amityville.
No, that's a lie. We just reviewed Woods Witch. So let's go over what we thought, because we didn't like Amityville Karen at all.
No,
for numerous reasons. I'll give you guys the top 3 reasons. They're legitimate reasons to not like the movie. You know, I was very enthusiastic about his movies, and especially his older videos, because he used to make really good content, and it seemed like a no-brainer that he should make a full movie. And but Amityville Karen, number 1, a lot of the movie was improvised, and you could tell. And actors would just go on and on and on and on. There was no direction. Even if I come up with improvisations, I think it out to make sure that I'm not going to go on for 10 minutes long. But that's what all the actors were doing in that movie. Number 2, the sound quality was terrible. There were scenes where you could barely hear the dialogue, even though it was just 2 actors in a room talking. And number 3, the main actress they actually put in jeopardy by having her talk on the phone while she was driving and turning in a California... You don't want to mess around on California roads driving.
Yeah, we were on one, and it was bumper-to-bumper traffic. And
you get killed. And so she was turning onto a busy street, talking on the phone, encouraged by the director. I don't like that at all. No. And then also, it just was a bad horror movie. Hardly anything happened in it. It was mostly just a stupid comedy, and it really felt like it could have just been like a 10-minute short movie, like all his old videos. So, Woods Witch, do you have anything to add to that, Safi?
No, after you brought it up, I didn't remember what... I knew we didn't like it at all.
I remember the entire thing.
Yeah, Marco has a great memory.
Yeah.
So.
And, well, actually, the one good thing about the movie was that Robert Duvall, was that his name? Or the guy from Independence Day? Or whatever? Robert Duvall or whatever.
No.
He did that guy, he did a really good job in the short time he had.
I don't remember which one, but he did a good job.
If he was the star.
It was the kid.
Yeah. If he was the star of the movie, it would have been a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, it was the son of, oh, God, I can't even think. The airplane pilot who finally ended the aliens by driving the bomb up into their machinery and exploded. And he was his son. And he was in that movie, the guy who played his son, he was in that Amityville Karen. So he did a really good job, and he was very professional.
Yeah.
And he knew about timing and a lot of other things that an actor knows, and he did a good job. You know, sometimes you have a bunch of amateurs and they're just terrible, but then you have somebody good who knows what they're doing. They kind of bring out the best in everybody else. At least they kind of bring it along with their strength.
And then Woods Witch, I was really disappointed with, which is funny because it's oh, you're really disappointed. The reason why is because that could have been a really good movie. I really think a Blair Witch type of movie, you could really make a scary horror movie with a witch in the woods type of thing. At any age, 2010, 2020, 2000, you could make that movie always. And so the fact that it was just another stupid comedy, and it was not scary at all. The witch was hardly in the movie. It was mostly about a tree that squirted juice on people. The main characters were extremely annoying and unlikable. and not in the good way where you like to watch them, but very, very annoying. And it's just a lot of dumb shit in that movie. But it was very funny and entertaining. Is a bad movie. But yeah, I was not a fan of that. I did like a few of the actors, and in fact, I would say that the best actors that Chauncey has gotten have been Woody Harrelson.
It's not Woody Harrelson. Where's Marco? It's a guy who reminds Marco of Woody Harrelson.
And he's like...
So, don't listen to that. I mean, don't think it really is, because it isn't.
He might as well be.
No.
You've never seen him and Woody Harrelson in the same room.
I think if Woody Harrelson if he was on one of Chauncey's movies, he'd probably sock him in the jaw.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know.
And but he's hilarious. Like he is so funny. And that's one of the sad things about Amityville Bigfoot is that he's not in this movie. Like, I thought that was the big thing that was missing. Like, he is like...
Maybe he had something better to do.
I don't know.
Another movie.
Maybe he was working on his ranch with his cows.
Does he have a ranch?
I don't know. He's like... But he brought all these, like, cowboy clothes, or maybe it was the wardrobe that they got him, but, like, he had all those cowboy clothes that he was wearing. And I think, like, honestly... You know, he is the Johnny Depp to Chauncey's Tim Burton. You know, he should be in all of Chauncey's movies because it's like he's hilarious. And if Chauncey just wants to make these bad movies and not try to make legitimately good horror movies, then that's like the perfect guy. Like, he should be starring in every one. Right, Safi? So both of the movies have big problems, and that's why we didn't like them. They were pretty much equally bad, but Wood's Witch was more entertainingly bad. So now let's move on to the latest and greatest achievement of Chauncey.
That's really not true, though. He's made other movies since this movie, right?
Well, yeah, but that's the sad thing, too, is that the fact that these movies have all released so randomly, you really can't picture like the timeline, and you can't really tell, oh, did he get better from the last movie? Because he all made them like years ago or whatever, and they're all just randomly releasing. So, because like I just so happened to find this movie on Tubi. I was just like curiously like, oh, maybe that'll be on there finally, or oh, maybe another, and then it was on there. So, Safi, what do you have to say about Amityville Bigfoot?
Okay, well, before we do these reviews, most of the time we kind of go over what we thought about it. And there was a few good things about it. It's like, this is about Bigfoot. This is about people who see Bigfoot and what happens when they see him. And this is about the people who make Bigfoot. And this is about an imposter. So anyway, with all that said, in the movie, there are multiple groups. So you've got this forest, and they showed it. It looked really nice. And, of course, they're in California, and, they have everything there in terms of the environment. But anyway, I counted the number of groups they have, and these are like there's campers, you have the people who made, so apparently they said they made this creature in the lab, and then you have campers, you have a bird watching group, you have a YouTuber, he comes in at the end, he has a really tiny part. You have a nudist camp, but you never see the nudist camp, but you see a person who's naked on his way to the nudist camp, who is pushing a dog in a baby buggy.
That was funny.
that was kind of a brief scene because
that scene. And now I should mention there were a couple of things in this movie where it felt like I could see where Chauncey was taking these things from, being inspired. And I don't know if it's true or not, but like if he actually was inspired from them or not, but the scene with the baby thing falling down the cliff, that was totally like that bad movie Mac and Me, with the child in the wheelchair getting pushed off the cliff or whatever. So
yeah, apparently, well, see, I'll just say what happened. The nudist guy was walking through the forest. He was on his way to the nudist camp because this bird watching group, they were looking for it. But I don't know if they weren't really bird watching. They just said they were, but they were really looking for the nudist camp because they wanted to check it out, and so to speak, the women. And but anyway, this guy's walking through, and so here comes Bigfoot. Bigfoot pushes him away. He doesn't really get hurt, I don't think, but he grabs the baby buggy and starts pushing it with a little doggy in there, and then all of a sudden you see the doggy go off the side of a hill, and he's goes down, and he's down at the bottom. He's just fine, and then all of a sudden something falls on him and he dies.
That was something that I liked. I thought that was funny.
Okay, so I'll go on with it, and then you don't see any more nude people, but that was kind of validating the fact there was a nudist camp.
There was no female nudity in this movie.
No.
Which was also kind of like a Debbie Downer. Right, Safi? Because it's like...
Not really.
Well, it's like... come on, Safi.
Well, I mean,
do you want to see... Naked, we had to see Chauncey's boobs in the movie, too. And it's like, I would prefer to have... I think it would have been a better artistic choice.
Okay, and then one of the people who works at this laboratory was really a spy working for like a liberation front.
Safi, don't spoil the movie.
Well, I mean, so there's a liberation group. They come to the force. That's another group.
Yeah.
And then
have you gone through all the group shit?
There's one guy who has a gun, but it's fake. It's not. He doesn't even look like a gun. It looks
Nerf
like a
gun.
Nerf gun.
And I think it's the same guy with the same Nerf gun from the last movie. So it's basically like, maybe it's like a requirement that if he funds the movie on Indiegogo that he has to have his Nerf gun. And that guy, there's this one actor who he was exactly like, and I want to find what actor that is, because he reminded me exactly like that one guy. So let me find that guy. Tim Blake Nelson. Remember that guy, Safi? He has that really distinctive accent, and he's always like in westerns and stuff like, I'm Tim Blake Nelson. Remember that?
No, I don't.
You don't remember that guy?
No.
From anything?
Well, let me just finish with these people. So
that was that guy.
Oh, okay. So then he's all by himself, and supposedly he's from a mental hospital. And because one of who was it? Some woman, I think she was with the Liberation Front. She ran into him, and she knew him. And so that's how you knew where he was from. And then there's the lab people. I already mentioned that. They start out, the lab people. Then we have a homeless group, which is very real because apparently some homeless people have tried to take up, living in these forests. And, sometimes they get caught and sometimes they don't. I've seen this mentioned, though, in several YouTube videos. And then there's one more, a movie group. There's actually a group making a movie about Bigfoot that has nothing to do with the slab. It's just completely different. So there's all these groups, and they're all in the forest at the same time.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so I'll let Marco go ahead, but I just wanted to make sure that was just one big distinct feature. There's a couple other things I liked about real small things, and
real small things. Well, yeah, I mean, at first it kind of just felt like, oh, it's going to be about these two groups. You have the movie group and you have the lab group, but no. Then they add another group, and you're like, oh my god, the groups, they just don't stop coming. Like these people, like that we don't even know or care about at all. And so that would be a major criticism, which, I want to start off talking about the good things about the movie, because I think this is the best movie that he's made out of the three that we've seen, easily. Because
of the monster.
It feels more constructed like a movie, with like a little tiny bit more effort into it. But that's a big issue again, is kind of like this effortless filmmaking. I think he said it was shot in 5 days or something.
Wow.
Which, yeah, whatever. Like that's good. But like, a lot of the camera work is very like impersonal. Like, there's not a lot of personality in the shots. And I think that that's something that Chauncey's old video content really had in, like, the short movies, the Don and Murph videos. They have very personalized and like, dramatic shots.
But they were shorter, so they were more focused. It seems like they were aimed to be more focused because they were shorter. They were for YouTube. So weren't they restricted into the amount of time they could put into them?
Well, I don't know. I mean, he would shoot... every video had to come out by Friday, so he would have a couple of days to shoot like a 10-minute video. So I guess maybe it could be the time. But I just don't think that's an excuse when you have months and months to plan. Like, when you have months and months to write a script, and when you get to shooting, you should know, like, I want these specific shots that could be really dramatic and have and add personality to the movie, instead of just saying, okay, here's a flat shot of these people talking, here's another flat shot of these people talking, here's a flat shot of Bigfoot. And Bigfoot was good. I thought, even though it was just a Halloween costume, you could kind of tell it was good, and I thought that they didn't really ruin Bigfoot the way that they ruined the Woods Witch, the so-called Woods Witch in that movie, who looked really, really fake and terrible. I did think that Bigfoot was pretty good.
Yeah, and they also, which is really funny too, because I think this was a little bit tricky too, because you have a movie group and they're shooting a movie about Bigfoot. So you have an actor, and they show him putting the costume on because he's going to shoot a scene, or they shot a scene and then he took the head part off. And then he puts it on later for, to do something else. And so you have two costumes, Bigfoot costumes. So the one where the real monster is different and it's taller. And then which is kind of weird because the person, I don't want to give it away yet, but anyway.
Yeah, Safi, don't give away the twist, because there is a twist in the movie. I thought that was nice.
Yeah.
That's something that a lot of lower budget horror movies do, is they'll have these little twists at the end.
Which I always like.
I thought it was nice and unexpected, because I really wasn't expecting any twist at all. And so that was nice. But also, I guess something else to talk about with the movie. Okay, things we like. Let's just list off all the things we like first to make sure we sound as positive, quote unquote, as possible. And I'm trying to think what else. I like this. I'll go first. I like this part at the beginning where they're at the lab and Chauncey and this other guy were fighting with each other in the background, and it was really funny. Like they were like choking each other or something. And there were some funny moments in the movie. Like I mentioned earlier, we saw Chauncey's chest again. And there was a really funny and clever gag where they had to get past the security guard. And then the woman he's always in movies with, Lauren, she flashes him and it doesn't work. And there is something bad in that scene, though, with like how you could tell she didn't actually do that. It looked very fake and phony, that I would like to also mention in the negatives. But then he flashes the security guard, and it works because the security guard is gay. And I thought that was a nice little subversion. That was actually pretty clever. And then, Safi, what did you like?
Oh, okay, now wait, I have a question. This is one question I have. That really...
Question?
Yes. What was the security guard guarding? Was this the movie security guard?
I can't remember.
Okay, guys, I never figured.
I thought it was a lab or something. I don't know.
That's what I was wondering. It's the lab security guard, because you never saw the person.
That's another thing, though, is that I don't think that for a laboratory, like that there would be a guy in a black uniform with security written on his thing, I think he would look more official or more corporate, right? Like, would he be like a...
I don't think he'd be out in the middle of the woods. I think he'd be...
He'd drive up.
Yeah.
He'd drive up in like a vehicle with flashing lights.
Because they would have cameras.
Yeah.
Seeing what was going on. And they could have easily done that by just showing a camera on a, on a pole or something, and then, and spliced it all together. So
all they had to have done is like, they could have had flashing lights. You don't have to have a vehicle with flashing lights. You just have a light in the background, and then the guy in silhouette comes out of the flashing lights, and you also hear a car noise in the background. You could get a car noise anywhere, and then they interact with them. That's all they had to do. And so, see what I mean? Like, it seems like there's not a lot of thought that's put into the movie, and that, like, if we just thought for a couple of seconds, we could actually come up with solutions to these problems. So, let's talk about more things that we liked.
Okay, well, there was two little things that I liked.
Yeah.
It's actually, there was also the third thing, but I won't mention that one yet. But anyway, there was a little bit of this music, which is really good. And it came after, there was, in part of this movie group, there was a father and son, and actually they were like the directors. And the son was the director, and the father was, I don't know, maybe
a producer
for it or something. Yeah. And after they got attacked by Bigfoot, then they started playing this little bitty music, and it was really good. And it's the only time in the movie they played it. And I thought, didn't they do that? They could have done it every time Bigfoot attacked. They could have made it like, in Jaws, when they have that Jaws dun 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 dun, play. They could have done that every time. That would have been interesting.
And that's an editing thing. That's not a thing where they only have 5 days to shoot. They had a bunch of time to add that music in at all these moments where he kills someone. So
that would have been. It was really good. And the other thing, I liked the movie poster at the very beginning that showed on Tubi.
Safi, that has nothing to do with the movie.
Well, I liked it. So anyway, go ahead.
Well, I like some of the actors. I mean, it's hard to think about the actors, though, because there's like a million. But there was that one in the green shirt who was like smaller than the rest or something. It was a girl. Mm-hmm. And then I liked her.
The Liberation Girl?
I can't remember.
Liberation Front.
And then I liked the guy with the gun. He was okay.
Yeah, I thought he was good.
John Cena was in it again with that big black guy. They're always like a duo together in Chauncey's movies, I guess. Because remember, they were in the last movie as a duo too. And then those girls flashed them and led them to the witch camp or whatever. Remember that?
No.
Remember John Cena?
It's not John Cena. It's somebody who looks like him. Marco calls him that.
Safi, that's blatantly obvious to people.
No, it's not.
Really?
How many people do you think have seen this movie? And seen those?
I don't know. We're the first review, so.
Well, then, enough said.
Well.
Okay.
And I thought the movie didn't drag on as much as the other two movies. At the end, when it got near the ending, it was dragging on a little bit. Especially, there was this whole subplot. In fact, there was this running theme throughout the movie of, like, Me Too stuff with, like, the females working at the lab being, like, underappreciated and disrespected, and then the male employees flirting with them or whatever. There was like a whole undercurrent of that throughout the movie, which was very odd because the main female scientist, who I can't remember any of their names, but like she was the most unprofessional person in the whole movie because she was having sex with Bigfoot. She was in love with Bigfoot.
She's the Liberation Girl.
Oh, no, she wasn't the one I liked. No. The one in the green shirt, Safi. She wasn't wearing a green shirt.
That's another one. There's two of us. The one working in the lab, she's a plant. Didn't you hear that? She's working for the Liberation Front. She serves a spy.
Yeah, well, but she the whole movie, she's ranting at Chauncey.
Oh, I know.
And
she
shit,
wants to have
and it's like
SEX with Bigfoot.
she is so far off the wagon, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
She has no room to talk. And so that was a really weird subplot. And then at the end, there was like a 20-minute dialogue between Chauncey and her about like how he wanted to date her, but she wouldn't date him because, you know, he's Chauncey. And so...
and I wondered, sometimes when I hear this stuff, I wonder, especially in his movies, if it's a real thing.
I don't know.
That they're actually bringing out on screen.
I don't think so.
A real life thing that's kind of being brought out on screen.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Because he works with her on like every movie almost. Like she's like his main person, even though she'd never date him.
Okay, well, I'm just going to bring up, and Marco is actually the one who brought it to my attention, but he didn't need to.
Well, no, I wasn't done.
Oh, okay.
But like there was some that whole dialogue at the end though between them should have been cut out.
Yeah.
Because it was like 20 minutes.
And it was nothing. Nobody cares.
It didn't even mean anything too. Like Chauncey,
add to the movie.
He said something which I don't even know what it means, but he said that she was giving him a "see you next Tuesday" or something. Like what?
Idea.
What does that mean?
I have no idea.
And you're giving me a "see me next Tuesday" type of thing? Like you can't do that? Like, I don't understand. And that's how he talks the whole movie, by the way.
Yeah.
That's how Chauncey talks the whole fucking movie. I have to talk like this the entire fucking movie, because if I don't talk like this, people aren't going to be entertained. It's not going to be a bad movie.
Okay. That's
right?
Enough. Yeah.
That's it. But, like, why would you want to talk like that in a movie?
I don't know. And, yuck.
And then, like... Okay, now let's get to the bad, because I talked about the one actor that I liked, which is actually the same actor that I liked in The Woods Witch, so I think there's a common theme here. So, Safi, let's get to the worst part of the movie, because that is the worst thing in the movie, in my opinion.
Okay, well, there's a camping family, which that would totally make sense in the woods, that there'd be people camping. I watch tons of camping movies. And they're real horror stories that happen in real life when people got murdered and all kinds of stuff and missing.
Yeah.
No one knows what happened. They just disappeared, etc. I mean, they have tons of stuff you could make a movie from if they want to do a horror movie. So why they do some of this dumb crap? But still, Bigfoot, that always is a big topic for campers. But anyway, there's this camping family. It's a father and two daughters. And by daughters, I mean maybe one who's like in 6th grade and another one's like in 9th grade. And so they swear, and there was some...
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
But I mean,
what was
really bad swear.
Well, that doesn't matter. That's fine. But child actors can do that. But, like, there was something that was really inappropriate to me where they were talking about the father's... something size, and then the child,
his genitalia.
The youngest child says a line that I'm not even going to say, but she makes a comment about that, and it's like, I don't even know how Chauncey got her parents' permission to say that line.
I know, and it's like totally inappropriate as nothing to the movie. And Bigfoot comes up to their tent and pees on it, and they think it's raining out, and they open their mouths. Oh,
and by the way, that was another thing that was taken from another movie, totally, where in American Pie 2, and people would immediately know, where
I've never seen the movies.
This girl is she's with this guy, and she's gonna pour champagne down his throat, like, and so he closes his eyes, but then there's a guy on a balcony, and he really needs to take a whiz, and he knocks over a plant, and it knocks her out, but he doesn't know because his eyes are closed, and so then the guy whizzes in the guy's mouth from up above, and he thinks it's champagne and everything, and that was exactly like this scene, and so I think that's where he got that from, because It was literally exactly like that. And I was so glad, though, that the children weren't doing it, too. Because that would have been really bad. That would have been some, what's that guy's name? That big, fat, fuck, predator from Nickelodeon? That would have been like something that guy would have done with, like, fucking that ugly-ass Ariana Grande type of thing. And so, like, I was glad that at least the children weren't drinking Bigfoot's whiz juice, and so, but the father was. Safi liked that part.
No, I didn't.
But Safi, you notice, once again, Chauncey has some sort of a fixation with people drinking weird liquids. Because in Amityville Karen, you had the cursed one, and then in Woods Witch, they drink... Fuck, Safi. It'd be like Joe Pesci from Home Alone. And then Woods Witch, they drink the liquid and it gets them high or whatever. The weird liquid, and then the Woods Witch liquid that squirts out of the tree. So he has some sort of a weird fetish for liquids. Like, there was another thing where Bigfoot squirts acidic breast juice on someone and it kills them. That was weird. The kills were better, too. The kills were better than Woods Witch as well, which was another good thing.
Yeah. But this part of the family, it shouldn't even been in there.
Yeah.
They didn't need it. I mean, like I'm saying, when I'm saying there's all these groups, my problem with that is, you know, to be a writer, you're not supposed to have too many characters. And it's different, like if you're doing a gladiator movie, when you've got crowds and war movies, and you have, but they're not all of these people they're not all the stars. They're like extras, and they're part of the whole scene, the whole artistic picture of a view of the war or the battle going on or whatever. But the problem with this, all these characters, and I'm wondering if they all paid to be in it or something.
A lot of them definitely did.
So they had to have a line or two. So you have way too many things going on. It's too. You have to have editing. You have to edit.
The thing that I was surprised by, which I'm glad that there was this guy who acted in the movie. He paid to act in the movie or be killed in the movie, and he did a vlog on set. And I thought, after watching the movie, there's no way this movie has a script, because there's so many times where actors are repeating their lines 2 to 3 times over and over again. Did you see Bigfoot over there? Did you see Bigfoot over there? Did you see Bigfoot over there? Like, people don't talk like that usually. Like, I've talked about that a few because I've been correcting myself with what I'm saying to make sure we don't go on for like 2 hours. But like, It felt like there's no way this movie has a script, because it feels like actors just say whatever they want to say, but then there actually is a script. Like, that was the weird part, was like they showed the script, and I was like, wow, that's even worse. That's even funnier, because does that come right out of Chauncey's head?
I don't know.
Like, I'm going to check to see if he's the only one who wrote the movie.
Unless that girl moved the movie, too.
Okay, and that usual woman helped him. Not the one who acted in the movie, but the one who's written other scripts. But, like, he's the main writer, so I guess that's, like, how he thinks and talks. Oh, God, someone gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Oh, God. Oh, someone gave it 4 out of 5? Oh, my, 3 out of 5? Oh, God.
No, it isn't a 5. Probably him, and he just disguised himself.
No, I don't think so. But, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not as bad as the last two. And another thing that I actually liked was that Chauncey was kind of making fun of himself at the beginning of the movie, because there was a protest going on, and one of the protest signs they focused on said, "Stop making Amityville movies." And I thought that was funny, so I like that. So in general, I would just say that this movie, it felt like too many characters. Bigfoot was good though. They could have made it more scary and less comedic.
They need to stop. There's a time and a place for it. I guess they can have it a little bit. So, because I always appreciate that too, in some of these dramas, like Grimm, for example. You have a little bit of comedy because people are not taking themselves seriously.
But you don't even like these characters. You don't even know who they are. The only characters that you really know by the end are Chauncey and that other girl that he's always with. And they were terrible characters that you didn't really give a fuck about.
Well, there's one more. There's the surprise one.
But he really wasn't a fully fleshed out character.
No,
he was just
not really.
a surprise character.
Yeah.
So, Safi?
Okay, so go ahead and talk about the twist.
No, we want to give the food review before we spoil the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I haven't even thought about a food review.
Oh, God,
Let's
Safi,
see.
that is more embarrassing than this movie.
Well...
No, I'll do mine first, because I just know you're going to probably say, oh, the KFC I had today.
No, actually, I wasn't going to say that.
Really?
No.
That's surprising, because that's what you usually do. You're like, oh, well, actually, the food that I ate today is exactly like this movie, conveniently.
No, not at all.
Wink, wink.
No.
Well, what was it, Safi? Say it.
No, I think this is kind of like a pizza with everything on it. And it's just, sometimes they put so much on, it's too much. And that's the thing with Chauncey and his movie making. He just makes too many. And it should be quality over quantity. And like Marco said, this was better than the other two we've seen, because it seemed to have a little bit more of a direction or focus, but there was still some things that he could have done, like take out the camping family, and some of the other, like the scene with Chauncey and that girl talking for half an hour over nothing nobody cares about. It should have been cut out. It wasn't necessary. So, I mean, there's some things that he could have done to trim it down.
And why couldn't they just get together at the end, too? Like, why did they have to have, like, a 30-minute sequence of her saying no, and him saying, well, you're giving me a see you next Tuesday type of thing, which I don't even know what that means. What does that mean, Safi?
I've never heard of that in my life. I don't know if that's a California thing.
Look that up. See you next Tuesday.
But that's like an everything pizza that you don't want. You don't want every single thing on it. You like multiple things, but you just don't want everything. And that's what it would be. Which I'm trying to think.
Okay, that is really funny. It turns out, usually you use it in text form, and you put C-U and then next Tuesday, so the letters, and so it spells C-U-N-T. That is really funny, actually. That's really good.
I've never heard of that, but that's interesting.
I'm going to use that all the time now.
Let's not and say we did.
I am.
Okay, go ahead. What's your food review?
Safi, don't. Well, I would say, the biggest problem with this movie is, as I said, even though it had some good qualities about it, it didn't have very much personality at all, just like the last two movies. And that's what's frustrating, is that all of Chauncey's old content had personality to it because of the music that he made and because of how they actually felt like they were more competent and they were like, he should really make a full one. And then he makes this and it's just like, it's bland. And, I really like hummus and pita a lot. But I don't really like regular hummus with pita. I like the flavored hummuses. So I like garlic hummus. Red pepper hummus. I don't really like just the original hummus because I feel like it's really bland. And this movie, to me, is like regular hummus with a little bit of pita bread. And you run out of the pita bread, which is that one actor, and then so you have to dip other shit into it, like white bread, pretzels, and things, and I don't like doing that, so that's what I would give the movie.
Okay, well, so let's go on and say, what was the surprise?
The surprise was
twist.
Eric Roberts comes in with like 20 minutes in the movie left.
And real Eric Roberts, not an actor who looks like him.
And he is like the head of the science people, and it turns out that he is also actually one of the Bigfoots in the movie, and that he was like the main one going around killing people and raping people, which doesn't really make sense because it's like, what did they have locked up in the lab? How did that work? There's a lot of questions that you have at the end. But like, I thought it was a good twist though.
Yeah.
Still.
And he actually, since he's very experienced and professional, he kind of sticks out.
Yeah.
Because he's crazy at the end. Well, he's crazy because of what he's been doing. But he takes off his mask and he hugs it. And he's laughing maniacally.
Yeah.
So, which is, he's crazy. So and also too, like I said, with all these different groups, anything that's left from the groups, they all converge, like at the end, talking about Bigfoot, and then they disperse again. So they never show the naked guy again. He just disappears. And
did you want to see him again or something?
Not really,
you've mentioned him twice.
I'm thinking about, well, that's because it was as a validation. There really was a nudist camp because they never show it. They have all these groups, and like I said, they could have gotten rid of a few, and especially the camping family.
It would have been really funny.
Which it was inappropriate for that.
It would have been really funny if they got to the nudist colony and it's just Woody Harrelson.
Not Woody Harrelson, a guy that looks like him. Marco keeps calling him. So that's it. And I wish, Marco has watched quite a few of those old YouTube shorts that Chauncey did.
Oh, what, does Safi want to watch those now?
No, but if he knew how to use music back then, why doesn't he do it now? Because that one little snippet of music that he used was really good. And like I said, he could have done that every time Bigfoot, and that was the common thread during the whole movie, was Bigfoot. He would show up and he went after the homeless people, he got the movie people, he got the bird watching people, he went on and on, went after everybody. And that was the common thread. He didn't just disappear and you're wondering, well, where is he? And what does he look like? And does he really exist? And then, at the end too, that with the YouTuber, I don't even know, that might have been the real Bigfoot that attacked him. Because that was way after Eric Roberts makes his appearance and takes his costume off and everything. But, so anyway, you got to wonder, if Chauncey was very good at using music back in the day when he did YouTube videos, why doesn't he do them now for his movies? Because it really does add to a movie. I mean, you think about Jaws, you think about Psycho, and some of these other big production movies, Harry Potter.
Oh yeah,
which is not a horror movie, but I'm saying the music is very important.
And I didn't say my least favorite character of the movie. I really wanted to because
go ahead.
I really did not like the director of the fake movie.
Oh yeah.
Because he was very caricaturish and stereotypical, and I just really didn't like how just one-dimensional he was. Because
you mean the one that has a heart attack at the end?
No, that's the producer. I'm talking about the director.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I just felt like, again, these characters, you need to have characters that people actually like and want to see more of, and not just these people who wander on screen, and it's like, oh, who's that person? Who's that person? Like that one actor, I don't even know what the character's name is, so I can't even... I think it was Casey or something.
And they're very... And they're very one-dimensional, too, and that's not good.
Yeah.
So.
Safi?
Okay, well, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and become one of our regular subscribers.
Yeah,
and
don't
probably see more of Marco in content than me.
Well, don't be a see you next Tuesday and subscribe to our channel, right, Safi?
Oh.
I said I'm going to use that all the time now.
I don't like that.
Why?
But it's
fun.
Okay.
It's fun, Safi. It's
be a California
fun.
Thing. Or maybe it's an East Coast thing. Wonder how long he's been. You've ever heard him say that before, huh?
No.
I've never heard anybody say
Never. And I thought, is that just some term or something? But no, apparently, it's. Yeah.
We'll have to look up and see who.
I mean, we are reviewing this on Tuesday. That's what's funny too. We are reviewing this on a Tuesday.
Okay, well, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.